Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the December 21st edition of the Carolina Weather Video here. Christmas week is here upon us, and winter officially begins today at 12:47 Eastern Time in the afternoon. And certainly, we've had some wintry weather here over the past several days. I want to take a look back at our snowstorm. I'll show you the forecast I put out there on the blog as we went through Friday morning. That's the map I drew. And, of course, originally Thursday morning on the air for the Triad, I said 5 to 10 inches. That forecast turned out to be a pretty decent one. This is the map, though, I drew up. And what ended up happening was the low-pressure area aloft tracked a little farther northward than it looked like it would. So you compared that to the map I put out. That is the actual accumulation map. And really, the forecast was pretty good that I put out for the mountains and down through much of the Triad viewing area. Notice the line of 2 to 6 inches of accumulation I put out ran from parts of Gaston County on up into Durham, 2 to 6 inches. What actually occurred here is generally that 2-inch line was not too bad here. Let me get the right annotation here. The 2-inch line was not too bad. It was, but certainly we didn't get as much snow as I had gone for the, especially the Charlotte area on points to the east. But the forecast, say from Interstate 85 on off to the north and west, was frankly pretty good. The mountains did indeed get into that foot-plus category there in many spots. It was a little heavy on some of the amounts in the northwestern, the Triad itself. The northwestern Triad viewing area part of the forecast turned out okay. So really, I was a little off with the forecast in the southern Piedmont for sure. Didn't get as much snow as I had anticipated there due to that farther northerly track of the low. But altogether, it wasn't a terrible forecast at all. But always room for improvement. I always want to show you how the event graded out, and that's how that one performed, that forecast performed. All right, on to what's going on now. This is a look at the surface map in terms of temperatures this morning, and looking at a lot of folks down into the 20s. There's been some black ice on the roads in those areas that still have some snow on the ground. And across the nation, that's a look at the temperature pattern. Notice no overly extreme cold across the lower 48. There is a bubble of very significant cold just north of the Great Lakes region. But as far as the lower 48 itself is concerned, somewhat of a relaxation of the extreme cold that's been around as we've gone through the mid-month period of December. And the radar also relatively quiet. Our next storm system is beginning to take shape, though, back in the Rocky Mountain region. Some snow breaking out up that way. And that system pulls through here Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. So let's go to the modeling. This is the 6C run of the GFS. Today, a relatively quiet day. We'll call it a partly cloudy sky. Highs mid to upper 40s in most Piedmont spots today. Tomorrow, similar. Mid to upper 40s with a partly cloudy sky. I mean, we'll be down into the mid to upper 20s in most spots for lows tonight. All right, here we are Wednesday. Looks like we'll see clouds certainly on the increase Wednesday as our next system takes shape. And here we are Christmas Eve. This is Christmas Eve, 7 p.m. At that point in time, you're looking at a pretty powerful low pressure over Missouri and high pressure over eastern Canada wedging down the eastern side of the mountains. Let's advance forward here to the next day. This is Christmas Day at 1 in the afternoon. That system pulling through. The wedge is pretty much gone at that point on the GFS. So it looks like, let me show you the surface map here on the GFS. This is 1 a.m. Christmas morning. So 1 a.m. Christmas morning, and this is what we're looking at is surface temperatures basically, the color contours. And at that point in time, you have the freezing line on the GFS being indicated really pretty close to the Virginia-North Carolina border. And with the wedging that's in place, as the precip moves in later Thursday and Thursday night, there could be a brief period of some freezing rain, especially in the northwest Piedmont and the northern foothills. But at this point, it looks like the wedge is going to get scoured out relatively quickly, so I don't think, at least for the time being, that this is a major wintry precip threat Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. It looks like the wedge gets scoured out, and we end up with probably just a rainy scenario into Christmas morning, maybe through much of the day Christmas Day, depending on how quickly that system pulls through. All right, where do we head from there? Let me show you a couple of the indices here. This is the NAO forecast, and it's been negative for a while now, most of this month. pretty much all this month, and generally forecasted to stay in the negative category. And the AO, the Arctic Oscillation, has been off the charts negative. So obviously you're going to get some relaxation of that, but it looks like it's going to tend to stay toward the negative side of things overall for the next couple of weeks. And here is the chart I'd like to show you. European model on the left, GFS model on the right. This is the average of the day 8 to 10 upper air pattern. And there are certainly some differences showing up overall between the two modeling, but the general idea to take from this is still looks like a very interesting pattern as we go through the period, say just after Christmas and into early January. You have a big ridge on the European and Western Canada, a trough underneath it, and that is a cold pattern in the eastern part of the country with occasional storm systems moving through. The GFS is similar. Ridge up into western parts and northern parts of Canada, trough underneath it, cold air in the east, and systems moving through. So certainly I don't think that we are finished at all with the chance for cold air and storm systems in the eastern U.S. In fact, the Z-RZ GFS was indicating that. This is a look at Sunday, Christmas weekend. Looks pretty chilly. And just picking out a couple time frames here for you. This is the 29th of December. It looks like a system moving through, lots of cold air around. Then after that, we have January 2nd, another system pulling through, cold air around. So certainly the folks that missed out on the snow, I think this winter is overall supportive of wintry precip chances. There are no guarantees, of course, but I don't think by any means that system over the weekend, Friday into Saturday, I don't think by any means that was our last shot of wintry precip. In fact, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we see additional chances for wintry precip here across the region. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.